Everyone wants to grow their glutes nowadays, and there's a ton of different people on a ton of different platforms showing you how they like to do it. A lot of it's fantastic, a lot of it's kind of gimmicky, right? So I want to dive into my 2 favorite movements for training and developing the glutes, as well as make sure you guys get your hands on our free glute building guide. We've gone ahead and linked that in the description down below, so please feel free to click that to get free access to our glute building guide. And without further ado, let's dive into how to perform my 2 favorite glute building exercises. So the glutes are a really common muscle people want to build, specifically females, and a lot of new lifters want to target their glutes for growth, and they want to optimize that growth. Now, bodyweight glute training is awesome, and it's one of the best modalities you can have for training your glutes with a high degree of versatility. And I also really like banded glute work. You'll see that a lot, people that have the bands. They're both really good. However, I truly believe that there's no substitute still to heavy, progressively overloaded resistance training. Now, you gotta use all 3. I think body weight, bands, and heavy resistance training are fantastic. We go more in depth as to the rationale behind why you should be doing heavy resistance training to build your glutes in the free guide. So I don't wanna take too much time for that, but I think my favorite way to overload, specifically with resistance, the gluteus maximus, is with the barbell hip thrust. Now, the barbell hip thrust is pretty common. You'll see it at almost every gym. Setup is very simple. Starting with the feet. Where your feet are positioned, whether it's slightly in, straight ahead, slightly out, is going to be contingent on a few factors. The first of which, 1, where do you feel your glutes most when your feet are positioned XYZ, right? So play with that. 2, if they're too far forward or too far backward, you might feel a little bit hamstring and quad dominance in the movement. So for starters, find that right foot position. For me and for most of my clients, it's slightly externally rotated, toes pointing away slightly. From there, shoulder blades are going to be up against the bench, and I'm going into full hip extension, looking for a vertical shin at the top position. So all I'm thinking here as I come down is thrusting upward, contracting my glutes fully, and finishing with vertical shins. You'll notice at that top position, I keep my rib cage down. I keep my eyes between my thighs. I don't want to look back and hyperextend. So this is what we want. This is not, and you'll see this a lot. So stay tight, keep your core engaged, and at that top, we're looking to posteriorly tilt that pelvis to finish the movement. Barbell hip thrust, a fantastic way to load those glutes, and you can get pretty strong at this. So again, it's a great way to introduce load, and again, progressive overload. Second exercise I really like for developing the glutes is the barbell Romanian deadlift. It is a hip extension based exercise, just like the hip thrust, and it does challenge the hamstrings quite a bit, but I do like it for developing the glutes because it puts quite a bit of stress on them in that fully stretched position. So very simple setup. You approach the bar so that it's aligned with the shins right over the shoelaces. Reach down and pick it up with a flat back, keeping the shoulders back and the knees soft. Simply slide the bar down the body, keeping it as close to the shins and thighs as possible the entire time. You'll feel the stretch in the glutes and hamstrings at the bottom, coming up, squeezing the glutes at the top. Making sure that as you come up, you don't hyperextend your hips. You just come to the fully extended position and squeeze the glutes. It's about all you need to know when it comes to performing the RDL properly. All right, guys, so to wrap it up, the barbell hip thrust and the barbell Romanian deadlift are two of my favorite ways to supply the glutes with some heavy progressive resistance. They're easy to load, they're easy to get strong at, and they do a tremendous job of complementing body weight and banded glute training and kind of comprise a well-rounded glute training program. Now, that being said, there's some other nuanced things you need to be aware of, from frequency to exercise selection to even how to cue your muscles properly to optimize your glute training results. And we included all of those things in our free glute training guide. So please be sure to check that out. Click the link in the description to download it. And thanks again for watching Mind Pump TV.